Have you talked to DG? How's he doing?
Yeah, just through text. He's Darius' spirit, you know what I mean? So he's doing good from that standpoint. Obviously frustrated and in some pain, but you know what I mean? Like, he's Darius.
How does it look?
It does not look pretty.
No.
Yeah, it's you take a cut, right in that inner part of the eyelid and the eye, so it's eyes swollen, bloodshot on the eyeball. So we just hope he gets better. Just relieve the pain so he's not going through that.
In your text with him, did he say anything about any kind of vision problems or anything like that?
No, not that I'm aware of. Obviously, the eye is shut,
yeah.
So it's hard to see when your eyes closed. But when he is able to hold it open, he can see at this point.
Yeah. You mentioned a few times during training camp, one of the plans that you had was either Darius or Donovan on the court at all times. How do you navigate if you don't have that personnel available to you?
I think it's getting to know Donovan, shortening the length of his reps and his rest so that he's on the floor, more. So even if it's a 5 or 6 minute run, he's out for 2 minutes and back on for 5 or 6 minutes. I think, you just have to figure out how you balance that through the game. And then we have capable guys who can handle and play. Obviously, Kobe, made it a priority to go find us a capable third guard. And we're confident that we'll get the job done.
Are you going into the Chicago game with the expectation that Darius won't be available?
We'll prepare for that just because, we've spent all of training camp and preseason preparing with him. So we know what we need to do if that's the case. But we haven't spent any time without him. So we'll spend time preparing as if he's not going to play.
I'm not sure if you discussed this last night, but did you give thought to going the entire second half with Donovan?
No, it's too soon. What we're asking him to do on both ends of the floor, it would have been unfair to put him in that type of position. He's committed himself to playing hard on the defensive end of the floor and taking on individual challenges. And it's not fair to ask anybody to carry that type of load, particularly this early in the season.
Last night you said we're going to be a good basketball team. We're just not there yet. How far do you feel like you need to go, and what needs to change in the coming games?
I think I'm going to correct it. I think we are a good basketball team, right? We're not the best that we're going to be by any means, but there's plenty of talent here, and there's great chemistry and team-oriented guys. So from that standpoint, we are a good basketball team. We've got to improve, right? We've got to play more together, get more reps together, understand each other's strengths and weaknesses a little bit better, and that's going to take us, to another level. But this is a good basketball team, there's no doubt about it.
And then just looking ahead, with Chicago on tap Saturday, what challenges do they propose? How do you feel about it?
DeMar DeRozan, the past year and, the other night in Miami is on a tear and trying to figure out how you slow him down. Obviously, they can space the floor with Vucevic out there at the 5 spot, so it gives them plenty of room to operate. And then we'll see, obviously, with some of their health concerns as well, who they put on the floor on Friday night. But they're a good basketball team. Coach Donovan does a good job of putting his guys in positions on both sides of the ball to be successful. So it'll be a challenge for us for sure.
What went into the decision to go with Karis as the starting small forward?
I think there was we always talk about lineups and rotations and how do we put, the best rotations that complement each other. And I think, that 5-man group really complements one another. Obviously you have 3 dynamic ball handlers, but you also have those 3 guys who are capable of spacing the floor as well. And I thought that Karis did a great job of embracing that role through training camp and preseason, where he took his offensive game and took a step backwards to help that group because he knew how dominant Darius and Donovan could be with the ball in their hands. So, it's a credit to him for that. I thought Jetty was good Isaac was good. Dean was good. Like, we could have gone either way. But I just think, again, we were trying to put together rotations and 5-man groups. That was the best one to start.
Those other guys are human, obviously. They have emotions. They want to start. How did they handle the news that they weren't starting?
They're great team guys first and foremost. There's plenty of minutes for all of them, and they're all going to play. I think we saw that last night. Obviously, Isaac got in a little bit of foul trouble that hindered him a little bit, but there's plenty of minutes to go around, and they've never been in a position where either of them have ever put themselves above the team. So that just continued last night. We always talk about sacrifice, and sacrifice is easy until it's you're the one who has to do it. But all those guys continued with the type of people and their character, and they decided to do what's best for the team.
Second chance against turnovers like that last night. Is there anything to you guys do that to yourselves versus, Toronto didn't do something to them?
Yeah, and again, give them credit, right? Because they put you in position to turn the basketball over, and they go to the offensive boards extremely hard. Those are things that we know we can be better at. So we can improve in those areas, and think about still we were in the game last night as poorly as we played in those areas. Like, you're not going to face many teams that are that good at forcing turnovers and offensive rebound like Toronto is. So if we can improve that against the rest of the league, and then obviously when we face Toronto again, it just shows you what we could be capable of.
JB, you mentioned chemistry, whether it's generically going into a season or more so when you have new guys on a team, but is there a timeline or is there a sense in your mind when you feel that chemistry will come together when everybody's comfortable with one another?
No, I think it's different for every team. Like, go back in my history of watching, and it's like I remember working with the Timberwolves when Sam Cassell, Latrell Sprewell, and KG first got together. They were about 500 in December. You go back to the Miami team when LeBron went there and Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, they were about the same to start with. So I think it's different for each situation and each team as a matter of when guys click. I'm hopeful that it will be sooner, because just watching our guys and see how they play together, seems to be a natural connection. But again, we'll be patient with the process, and as long as guys are playing to our standard, we can live with that until we get ourselves, fully connected and reach our peak.
Going back to Karis, what did you see from him last night?
It was the versatility, right? I thought he did a hell of a job defensively. He ended up with 7 assists, 5 rebounds, if I'm not mistaken. I think that the toughest challenge for him, and we've asked him to be, multiple personalities on the offensive end of the floor, depending on the group that he's with, right? So there's going to be times where he's a spot shooter. There's going to be times where he's a creator and facilitator. There's going to be times where he's a scorer. And that's difficult, right? It's difficult to change throughout a game who you are. We believe he's capable of it, but I think he's just got to get the feel for in each moment with what lineup he needs to be, which person.
You've talked a few different times about Karis taking those tough defensive challenges. When did you start to know or believe that was a role that he could handle for you guys?
It started last year when he came back from his injury. I thought that he showed that he was really, really aggressive. He's got great length and great feet, and he's competitive and willing to take challenges. So watching that and having conversations with him over the summer, and just watching how he put his body in great condition, changed his diet, watching him in preseason and training camp, every rep was a full speed rep, and you have to be in great shape to be able to guard those guys, for one. But then on the other end of the floor, to play offense, you have to be in great shape, and he put the work and time in. So we, believe that he could do it.